Some shows stay relevant years later, and some, looking back, don't age well. I'm Rob, JTR Anime Newb on YouTube. JTR stands for Jesta ThaRogue, which is my name on Twitch and social media. On this channel I learn about and review anime with minor spoils, but I don't go too deep into the plot or spoil the ending or any plot twists. For my 10th review I wanted to revisit a classic, one that cost me a fortune at the local card game shop. I watched all 40 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 1, Duelist Kingdom. So the plot, our main character is into a card game called Duel Monsters. He and his friends go on a quest related to the love of this card game to help a family member, and it spirals from there into serious tournaments and ancient Egyptian puzzle pieces. So what world are they living in? Well, it's one of those worlds where it appears that everything revolves around this card game and very little else. It's the most important thing in the world, and we'll see why, because it comes from the game being played in ancient Egypt. So there's this mystical and magical element as the monsters nearly destroyed the world 5,000 years ago, so that's why it's so important now, because it was so important back then and so powerful. So we meet our characters. We have Yugi Muto. I didn't realise his last name was Muto until watching this, but there he is. He's 4 feet shorter than his friends. He's got awesome hair. He's the goody good guy. He's a pure of heart. He has a Millennium Object puzzle around his neck, and he can turn into the second character I want to talk about. This is Yami Yugi. This is basically Yugi hitting puberty. He plays like an AI who can top deck the card he needs, the little cheater. So he always gets the card he wants, which is, not very nice. We have Solomon Muto, who is Yugi's grandpa. He believes in the heart of the cards, and he could talk to Yugi like a force ghost despite actually being alive. And when he trains people to play Duel Monsters, he trains them to exhaustion, as we see with our next character, who is Joey, who is, I believe, on holiday from Brooklyn, according to his accent. He is the comic relief, and he's Yugi's friend, as is Taya, who is the pretty useless girly girl character, who I don't really like. And there's also Tristan, who's his friend as well, who's second comedy relief. And a walking expedition dump, he's also pretty useless as well. I don't understand what they're there for, apart from just to add extra comic relief. And we have Seto Kaiba. He's in school but also runs Kaiba Corp, this multi-million-dollar company, so he's doing alright for himself. And he collects the powerful card Blue Eyes White Dragon. And the final character that I want to mention is Maximilian Pegasus. He is the creator of the Duel Monsters card game, and he's magical due to having the Millennium Eye, another Millennium puzzle piece. We're going to skip the fan service and mature content because there isn't any. This is a good, wholesome show. We're going to go straight to the animation, and to be fair, it is fairly dated. This came out in 2000. It's got that animation style of a Saturday morning cartoon, which is a bit unfair because I remember at the time thinking it looked really good, and it's hard to compare something for 2000 and 2024. I know there's things like Akira and stuff back then, but this is just a kid's show, basically, that they were making to sell cards. Let's be honest. So they didn't really need to put too much into it, but all the characters look nice and all the cards look cool as well, which is all good. The voice acting is fine, everybody does a good job. Yami Yugi and Yugi Muto sound very different, you know which one's talking because you can hear them talking to each other. Joey, as I said, is from Brooklyn. Pegasus has the best voice, he's got a really good voice. So the community reception, it's rated 4.5 from 9,300 reviews on Crunchyroll, with people saying it's still got a place in their heart and they've got nostalgia for playing the card game back in the day. And it is rated 7 out of 10 from 72 reviews on IMDb, and people say it's still good even without the nostalgia, even though it is just a giant advert for the card game, which is definitely true. Well, what do I think of it? Well, I mean, it's been a long time since I watched it, so it's been interesting watching it with a fresh eye. So the opening episode, they've just had a game of Duel Monsters and Yugi won, and Yugi tells Joey that he won because he had better cards, which is the mission that this is a pay-to-win game. If you buy the best cards, you will win the game. You don't have to be the better player. So thanks for that, Yugi. You've confirmed everyone's suspicions. Early on in the series, Grandpa has a battle that puts him in hospital with Seto Kaiba, and Seto Kaiba can't send him to the Shadow Realm, so I'm pretty sure his heavies, his staff, just beat him up and stole his card that he was after. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. That's how Grandpa got put in hospital. The whole tournament that happens towards the end of the 40 episode run is really good, especially the fight with the twins. It's a lot of fun. So many memories came back from different things that I remember from, and things I still quote now when I'm playing board games. Like I'll say your move when it's somebody else's turn, or I'll say I end my turn, which is something that Yugi says, something that's been in my memory for 20 years. I've been saying it for such a long time, so it's really stuck with me. The only thing is game wise, so everybody draws the exact card they need every time, which does get a bit boring because nobody seems to like take the lead and then just beat. Obviously, it would make boring TV if one side just battered the other side. Every turn, somebody's coming back and they look defeated. They draw the card they need and then they're back in it. It's just a bit annoying after a while when you know it's going to happen. Also, games don't follow the real rules, which really annoys me. They are very stupid, very made up. It's a bit weird, especially when you know how to play the game properly, but you can't do much about that. Which is my favourite episode? Well, there is so many of these episodes that I really liked. A lot of them I can still remember as I was watching. I was thinking, I remember watching this. That was so good. But it's got to be the one that stuck with me for the longest and the one that I still quote and still say. It's the 5-parter. It's episodes 35 to 39. Yugi versus Pegasus, Match of the Millennium. It is so much fun. I just love those episodes, that whole tournament with Pegasus's deck that I really wish I could have built in real life. I did actually build his Toon World deck in real life, but it didn't really work because obviously the card game in the show is much different to the card game in real life, and trying to play a Toon World deck, I just got absolutely hammered by anyone I played against, so that was a waste of time. But leads nicely onto my favourite character, which is Pegasus. He is a baddie doing bad things, but he's doing it for a good reason, which is something I always like. When you've got that baddie with a purpose, so you can sort of sympathise with him, but you can't be on his side because he's just being too evil. He has a great voice, and his love of toon cards coming from the fact that he liked watching cartoons on a Saturday morning as a kid is just adorable. He's just a really good character, and again, his voice and the way he says things, and saying Yugi boy, which is something that I still say now, even though I hadn't watched it for 20 odd years in between. It's really good. So what I rated? I rated this 4 puzzle pieces out of 5. I would definitely, and I have rewatched. I'm going to continue watching more, and I'll review them when I do that. I am just going to knock it down 0.25 just because the card game is not played by the rules. So what is my word of the day? Well, in episode 7, I believe it was, I reviewed Tomo-chan is a girl. I had shoujo as my word of the day, which generally means anime for girls. It's not exactly for girls, it's for anyone, but that generally means for girls. I was looking what kind of anime is Yu-Gi-Oh! So I had a look online, and it's shonen. Of course it is. Shonen anime is known for its high stakes battles and dynamic fight scenes. It often promotes themes of courage, determination, and friendship, and that perfectly describes Yu-Gi-Oh! Shonen itself translates to young boy, which is the target audience, but again, just with shoujo, it can be read, watched by all ages and genders. It's just a way to categorize different things, but it doesn't really mean anything. If it doesn't mean anything to you, then that is fine. So that is my review of Yu-Gi-Oh! Episodes 1 to 40, the Duelist Kingdom arc. Have you watched Yu-Gi-Oh? Have you watched it since you maybe watched it originally way back when? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff. Stay with me because in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be doing another video, and in this one, I don't know anything about it other than the title, and all I know is that it sort of works off a theory based around catfishing. So can you guess what that is? Maybe? I don't know if that's a very good clue, actually. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe, as I've said before. I've been Rob, JTR Anime Noob, and I'll see you soon.